Hello everyone and welcome into today's video where we are checking out the Uniswap V3 release. I will do a brief overview to get you the most important points, and we will also check out some news regarding Uniswap, and finally we will check out the price charts as well, so stay tuned for that one. By the way, after the last video there were not any complaints about the audio, so I assume it's fine as a backup solution. And also before we start, I would really appreciate if you could smash the like button to help me in the YouTube algorithm to reach more people. I really appreciate that and thank you for doing so. So with this out of the way, let's jump into the uniswap.org page. I will link this in the video description so you can check it yourselves for more detail. We have just a quick overview of Uniswap V1 and V2, which was 2018 and 2020 respectively, and now there will be this V3 launched on May 5th, and the main contents of this update are the concentrated liquidity and multiple fee tiers, so we will check those in more detail in this overview. So starting with the concentrated liquidity. In the V2 there were these liquidity pools which consist of 2 tokens, and if you put your tokens into these pools you provide the liquidity for the complete range of prices, so from 0 to infinity. However, now in the V3 you can actually set in which price range you will be providing the liquidity. So on this short video they have here, you can really see what it looks like. So you can say you will just provide in this range or this range over here, depending on your preferences, because you know that for example in this range there will be the most trading happening and you don't want to be providing liquidity for a range which is not used at all. So these who provide the liquidity are called the liquidity providers, so LPs for short. And quite a nice benefit for LPs with providing just a range of liquidity is that the fees you obtain in this range are much higher than in the V2. So you can see if the band gets more narrow, you have a higher percentage of fees compared to the V2. The more narrow the band is, the more fees you will get. You have also some examples here, but I think the best one is actually this calculator over here. So let's say you will put $100 into a liquidity pool. This is a total value of the paired tokens, and we assume that you are providing a liquidity for ETH. So then you will select a price range in which you will provide the liquidity for ETH. So if we say from the max range, it looks pretty similar to V2. However, if we gonna narrow this window a little bit more, so let's say the current price is 1820, so we want to get as close to the 1820 as possible because there is gonna be the most trading happening. And if we narrow this band to about 1700 and just under 2000, we can see that we will get almost 30 times more rewards from fees in comparison to the V2 version. So to put this other way around, in the V2 you would have to provide almost $3,000 to get the same amount of rewards from fees. However, in the V3 you can just put $100 into these pools. However, important thing is the value has to stay in between this range. If it doesn't, there is this catch which is called active liquidity, and it basically means that if the price gets out of your range, like here, you will basically be no longer earning any fees, and your liquidity is gonna be composed entirely of the less valuable of the 2 assets until the market price moves back into your price range. So that's the downside. With this, there is this theoretical possibility for no liquidity to exist in a given price range. However, they expect the liquidity providers to update their price ranges to cover the current market price. So we will see what's gonna happen. Also about the capital efficiency, the gains will max out at 4000 times for liquidity providers. However, the V3 pool factory is technically capable of supporting ranges of 200%, which would translate to a max maximum of 20,000 times the capital efficiency gains relative to V2. However, these will be available probably in the layer 2, which will come later this year hopefully, with also the transition to optimism and much lower gas fees. Aside those things, there is also this change with the fungibility of your liquidity, because before your positions were fungible and were represented by ERC20 tokens, so you could swap those around, trade those around, and anyone who bought them from you could reclaim your liquidity pool tokens. However, in the V3 there is this change that now the liquidity providers' positions will be represented by non-fungible tokens, so NFTs, which is ERC721 tokens. However, it looks like that there is still some possibility to make those positions fungible with ERC20 tokens via peripheral contracts or through other partner protocols, but it's gonna be more difficult. Also, there is addition of flexible fees, so that means that you can set how much fees the traders are gonna pay in the liquidity pools, so that's pretty cool. Also, there will be this update to oracles, so there are gonna be more advanced oracles to give more up-to-date prices, etc. So also nice addition. And probably the most controversial one is the licensing of the Uniswap V3, which will be licensed for 2 years, after which it will become open source. But until then, it will be launched under the business source license 1.1, and this license will limit the use of the V3 source code in commercial or production setting for up to 2 years, as we mentioned, but at least you can look at the source code yourself still on GitHub, but I don't think many people are really happy about this addition. Also, there will be audits and bug bounty again, so if you are into these kind of things, you can check this out for sure. Finally, some more details, but with this we've covered the most important points, I think, so let's now jump into some news. In the past few days we've seen that the pancake swap is catching Uniswap very quickly in the total value locked, which means the amount of money in the liquidity pools or the loan collaterals. So the battle is heating up a little bit more, and I think for Uniswap to really take off we will have to wait for the layer 2, which will be launched later this year with the optimism transition. And also you can see that pancake swap actually leads with daily volumes of 612 million US dollars, whereas Uniswap has just 553 million US dollars, and SushiSwap is actually quite behind in this race with just 154 million US dollars. And in another news, we have the Uniswap exchange bypassing Bitcoin network in daily fees. So on the March 29th or around this date, Uniswap earned from the fees over 4.8 million US dollars, and in comparison Bitcoin received only 3.1 million US dollars over the same period of time. However, still they are miles behind Ethereum, which is earning about 16.5 million dollars in commissions per day, so that's where the high gas fees go. However, it's probably gonna come down a little bit from this 4.8 million, mainly because was caused from a jump in transaction fees on Ethereum, which are still incredibly high, and we all want the Ethereum 2.0 finally be released after all those delays. Please, that would be great for everyone. And here just short summary of the tokenomics. We can see that Uniswap is at the moment at the rank number 8 with the market cap of 15.5 billion US dollars, and the circulating supply is about the half of the maximum supply of 1 billion. And also here we have the interesting stat of total value locked, which is TVL, of about 7.8 billion US dollars. And if we compare those two values, we get this ratio, which tells us how overpriced or underpriced is the Uniswap. And if this ratio is higher than 1, we can say that the Uniswap token is a bit overpriced, so it's sitting around ratio of 2. And here we have the price chart, so if we zoom in a little bit, we can see that Uniswap was going up pretty steadily, and actually for the past month or so it's been going quite sideways, I would say. We have few of these important trend lines over here, and actually we can see that this upper trend line was broken recently. However, that's not the end of the world, and Uniswap is still in the side uptrend channel, which is in the yellow, so there is still this support to catch the price. However, we can safely say that Uniswap has slowed down quite significantly from the very parabolic times in December, January and February period. But still, we are in an uptrend and there aren't any major resistances above those prices, so it doesn't look that bad. Also, if we check out the Bitcoin to Uniswap ratio, we can see that after breaking this resistance over here, we jumped over the all-time highs, which is this blue line over here, and entered this downward channel, which we are still in at the moment. However, if we look closely, we are hovering above the all-time highs support over here, so there is this bit of a wedge forming at the moment, and we can maybe expect some breakout of this support and maybe backtest for the new all-time highs in this ratio, which would be great because we would get out of this downward channel in which the price was from the beginning of March. And finally, checking out also the Uniswap to ETH ratio. It looks pretty similar, but we can see these values are much higher than in the Bitcoin, higher than all-time highs from the October 2020. And actually there was a similar resistance over here in the February, which we broke as well and get up over this all-time highs support. And we've been in a similar downtrend channel, a bit more narrow, however still a downtrend channel, and we are breaking just under this support over here from the all-time highs. So now it will be crucial if the price can snap back up over this support line over here, and if we can break this downtrend channel as well as with the Bitcoin, that would be great for Uniswap. Maybe as we get closer to the May launch day, price can reflect the new update. However, the update wasn't that amazing, so we will have to wait and see. With all said, I wouldn't write off Uniswap just yet. It's still one of the leading decentralized exchanges with one of the highest traded volumes and daily users, so I think there is plenty of upside, and we will just have to be patient for the layer 2 with the optimism transition to finally get lower fees on the Uniswap, which I think would really help the exchange itself but also the price of Uniswap token. And this is it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. If so, please smash the like button to help me in the YouTube algorithm to reach more people, and also consider subscribing for more future crypto content to come. I thank you for watching, and I will see you in a next video. Cheers!